Hi everyone, this is Philip Martin from the Phoenix Society. In this video we're going to take a look at an arming sword made by Angus Trim, the ATrim Xa.11. So let's talk about that name first. What does that mean, Xa.11? When Gus names a sword, the first part of the name is the type of blade based on whichever typology applies to that sword. So this is an oak shot type 10A blade. He also makes falchions that he uses the Elmsley typology to name. The Xa.11 is the 11th sword in that series, and it's the last sword. I was talking to Gus, he mentioned that this line is retired, so we won't be making any new models. He's still making them, he's just not going to design a new one. Several of the type 10A swords that he makes are very popular. I've cut with the Xa.4 and really liked it. As soon as I tried the Xa.5, I asked him if I could buy it. It wasn't intended for sale. It was a shop sword, and it had been loaned to other people for testing. But as soon as I used it, I knew I wanted to have it, and it served me well in tournaments. I've won several medals with this sword, including a couple of gold medals. I've also loaned this to a couple of friends who've used it in tournaments. And for example, Brittany, the head instructor at Mordhow Historical Combat, used this sword at Sword Squash to win a bronze. And then I believe at the 2020 SoCal Sword Fight, Christopher Yang used it to take 4th place. So it's a very good cutting sword. I thought it'd be a good comparison between this sword and the Xa.11. I don't know how well you can see, but it's a shorter blade, the Xa.11. You can see it's probably about 3 inches shorter, but it's about an ounce heavier. So this Xa.11 is a 1 pound 15.5 ounce sword, so just under 2 pounds, and the Xa.5 is 1 pound 14.5 ounces. The feel in the hand, the Xa.5 is very quick, very light feeling. The Xa.11 has a heavier feel that exceeds what you'd expect just based on that 1 ounce of difference in weight. And I believe this is probably due to the mass distribution. There's more distal taper in the Xa.5 than in the Xa.11, resulting in a fairly stiff sword versus a fairly flexible blade on the Xa.5. But this sword, when you use on a single mat, it just inspires confidence. I remember the first time I used it, I tried the 3-cut combination for the first time and was able to do it on the first try. This sword stops and starts so quickly and cuts through a mat very easily. It'll struggle a little more with, say, a double thick Tommy mat, or if you started doing things like putting wood cores in the mats. This is a very light sword, but for a single tatami mat, it really excels. This sword feels very good in the hand, the Xa.11. I guess a few things to point out. Gus sometimes will leave a fire scale in the fuller to give it an interesting look. It's a very sort of a signature look of his. But he only does that if the fire scale looks good after heat treatment. If it doesn't, he'll just go ahead and polish it out like he did on the Xa.5. But on this one, I don't know how well you can see it, but it has been fire blued with a torch. So he very carefully applied heat creating sort of a rainbow pattern in the fuller, which is a pretty neat effect. So earlier this weekend, I did some cutting with this sword. I cut some tatami mats. So let's take a look and see how well this ATrim Xa.11 cuts tatami. So as you can see in that cutting footage, this ATrim Xa.11 cuts very well. As I mentioned, it has plenty of authority in the cut. It also has a nice amount of stiffness in the blade, which is helpful when cutting as well. The blade has a bit more profile taper than the Xa.5, as you can see. It's wider at the base. One thing to note with Angus Trim swords is the hilt construction. The pommel is attached with a nut. When he first puts these together, he has a long hex nut that he cranks down until he can't tighten it anymore. Then he'll put the sword away for what he refers to as the settling in period. So he'll wait a few days and then try and tighten it, see if he can get another quarter of a turn or so. And if he can, then he'll put it away for another few days and repeat that process until he can't tighten the nut anymore. And then the wood in the grip will have been compressed to the point where it can't be compressed anymore. At that point, he'll cut off that long hex nut, leaving this what sort of resembles a peen block, but it's really the end of the nut over the threaded tang. This results in a very, very solid, long-lasting construction. Over the past almost 4 years now, I've had the opportunity to cut with a number of Gus's swords, and I've really appreciated the opportunity. This Xa.11 is an excellent cutting sword, along the lines of many of the other excellent cutting swords that I've tested from Gus. I hope you found this video helpful, and thank you very much for watching.